Oh, hi. I didn't see you guys there. Well, I was just updating some of our guides to the new patch 7.22b. I just figured that I would go ahead and check out this newest update. It's only been 7.22 has only been out for like 2 days, and we're already getting a B version of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at these quick little patch notes that are going to probably nerf a couple things and buff a couple things that were just a little bit too weird after the last patch. So first of all, we've got Clink's base strength increased by 2. Searing arrow damage has been reduced from 30, 40, 50, 60 to 20, 30, 40, 50. Searing arrow mana cost has been reduced as well, scaling up to 12, but starting much lower. And then the talent has also reduced searing arrow damage by another 5. Dark Willow's base attack time has been increased so that you can no longer be quite as much of a ridiculous machine gun with that Aghanim Scepter. Shadow Realm damage ramp has also been increased as well, and the 25 talent has reduced her attack speed from 200 to 175. So this is basically all just nerfs to her ags, essentially. A lot of people have been complaining about her ags being way too strong, and so addressing that to some extent. Grimstroke, Scepter Illusion incoming damage has been increased from 200% to 350, and the Scepter Illusion duration has been reduced by 5 seconds. Now, the first time that I read the Grimstroke Aghanims, I was like, this is unbelievably overpowered because it simply just gives you a better version of the enemy carry. And thankfully, they have fixed that to now be, more of an illusion. It's definitely still really good because it's magic immune and it does a lot of extra damage, but it takes a lot more, so it's easier to deal with. Scepter Wolves gold and experience bounty has been reduced by half. And the Scepter Wolves gain crit now during Shapeshift, which wasn't happening before. So I mean, this scepter still blows. It's bad. But at least the wolves will sort of, I guess, help you get lane pressure if you have scepter for whatever reason. Necrophos, Heartstopper aura damage type has been changed from pure to magical. Wow, okay. Still does not trigger damage events. So this now is reduced by pipe, which is a pretty big deal and a pretty huge nerf to Necrophos, especially in the later stages of the game where everybody has magic immunity and pipes and stuff like that to deal with his other overwhelming magic damage. So this is actually a really big nerf to Necrophos, and I think we're going to see his win rate drop significantly. Right now, I think he is the highest win rate hero in the game, and it's going to go down by at least a couple percent because of, if not more. Slark Essence Shift, level 4 duration has been reduced from 120 to 100. This hero got an attack speed buff just for free in the last patch, and so they're going to nerf his Essence Shift effect a little bit. And that's it. I guess they just wanted to get rid of a couple really important things, such as maybe a bug on Lycan, the Dark Willow spam that's been happening a lot. A lot of pros are picking up Dark Willow and going Ags as one of their first items, so definitely really strong hero. Still going to be really strong. The Aghanim Scepter is insane, but this will make her not quite as overpowered as she was. As far as 7.22 and just the general feelings of the patch, I just wanted to kind of talk about it. And Jenkins and I have discussed it a bit. We've played a lot of pubs. Both he and I have been spamming games lately, and we both kind of feel like the patch really isn't that different than the previous ones. I will say, though, that pushing after winning a team fight is much, much harder now. I think that we're going to see perhaps even stuff like AC and Desolator being prioritized just because you really, really, really want to be able to take buildings after you win fights. And the way that towers have been buffed to have, split shot and also have more armor and have more armor surrounding them, it's pretty intense, and it's actually really hard to take objectives if you're not at full strength. I think that the meta is definitely trending towards slower, but I think that a lot of the heroes that were popular last patch are still going to be popular this patch because not a whole lot of super heavy nerfs happened. Even Drow is still a reasonably good hero, despite pretty significant nerf to her ultimate. GPM talents are really continuing to be more and more important, especially on supports, I would say. I definitely feel like the lanes are coming out a lot more even. It doesn't feel like there's super heavy stomps at the moment. Occasionally you'll get, like Monkey King +1 against a solo Doom, and that's completely unlaneable, but then you just cut the creep wave. And we've talked about cheesing the lane so many times at this point that if you're not cutting the creep wave or cheesing a lane that is super hard for you, then it's totally your fault that you're getting run over. I think a couple other things I'd like to point out as far as being interesting or really strong this patch are aura items. What a surprise. Auras are still super good. I think that you should have a Vlad's every game. I think that you should have a Piper or Crimson every game. And I still think that Guardian Greaves is probably criminally underrated. I do think that Medallion gets a significant boost because of the importance of having Roche. And then I also think that Midas is getting more important as well, just because these games are going to go longer. I think that allows you to unlock a lot of these heroes that normally don't necessarily have quite as much impact in games, and you have a chance to actually do that. Maybe, you know, pick up one of these niche scepters, or even just get to your level 20 and 25 talents, which now take longer to get to because of the EXP changes. I also wanted to take a quick look at the trends for this last week since 722 came out, and obviously the big one here is Chen. Jenkins has talked about it in his most buffed heroes, and he's been considering even making a Chen guide, just because it seems like, and I've heard a lot of other high-level people talk about, just his aura is incredibly powerful. Like, you don't even need to win the lanes as Chen anymore, because now you basically have a Helm of Dominator plus a Vlad's built into your hero that you just automatically get. And then you can just march down lanes at like 15 minutes, take all of the towers, and end the game. So not too surprising to see Chen at a plus 9% win rate change. I would expect to see him first pick, first ban in most competitive games up until he gets changed, because it's going to get changed. After he's banned every single pro game for the next month, it will get changed. There will be a 722C, and Chen will be the first hero that gets nerfed in that one. Slark is really benefiting from this attack speed change, and just the fact that games are now going a little bit longer, which allows him to have a bad lane and come back into it and have some impact later on. Tinker, obviously a hero that functions very well in longer games. Phantom Lancer as well. Not too surprising to see him on the rise with his win rate. I think one of the big heroes that I'm really looking for to have a huge impact in the competitive scene is Death Prophet. I would highly encourage any mid player to learn this hero. The Aghanim Scepter is insane on DP, and I think that she is going to continue to spike in both win rate and pick rate as the patch continues to settle. Warlock is incredible. I think that the change to give him the 6 link for Fatal Bonds at level 1 allows you to do an insane amount of damage in lane. Of course, he's always been one of the best sustain heroes, and now sustain lanes are probably a little bit more acceptable, because it's okay if you're getting denied a bit, just because the experience is not quite as punishing. I think that Warlock is going to also come back into the meta, especially because he's one of those supports that really heavily scales into the late game and focuses extremely well on team fights, which is another thing that is super heavily in the meta. Spectre, I think, is going to be one of those heroes that is going to pick up the Aghanim Scepter a lot. I think that the free second haunt on a 70-second cooldown is ridiculously good. It's going to allow you to show up to every single fight that you need to and continue to farm the rest of the time on this hero. I would expect Spectre's win rate to continue to be very high. Other than that, it's relatively just status quo. Like I said, Jenkins and I have talked, and we kind of both came to the conclusion that, you know, the game's not that much different. It's just a little bit slower. And at least for now, that means that you can pretty much just play exactly how you were last patch, and the same heroes that you were in the last patch with maybe just a few minor tweaks. Same items are still good, and the same kind of strategy is still generally good as well. So hope that helps. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section below what you think the next patch will do. Is it going to nerf a bunch of heroes, buff a bunch of heroes, or make an even more significant change? Good luck, have fun in your games, and we'll see you in another video. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching the video. We genuinely appreciate your time and attention spent with us here on the YouTube channel.